Держи, свети. Давай я помогу, подожди, командир.
Ukrainian forces have exposed a likely Russian plan to encircle the Pokrovsk agglomeration, highlighting the scale of Moscow's efforts in the Donetsk region. The 7th Rapid Response Corps of Ukraine's air assault forces released a map showing Russian deployments and probable directions of advance. To carry out the encirclement, Russia has reportedly concentrated around 11,000 personnel who have infiltrated the area, aiming to advance northwest and north of Pokrovsk. Within the broader operational zone of the 7th Corps, Russian forces have amassed approximately 27,000 troops, supported by 100 tanks, up to 260 armored combat vehicles, and roughly 160 artillery systems and mortars. Despite the pressure, defenders of the Pokrovsk agglomeration continue their resolute defensive operations. Over the past 2 days, Ukrainian forces in the area reportedly eliminated 90 Russian soldiers and wounded another 42. In addition, they destroyed 1 armored personnel carrier, 3 infantry fighting vehicles, 3 cars, 1 motorcycle, and successfully shot down 158 drones of various types. Within Pokrovsk itself, Ukrainian troops neutralized 18 enemy fighters. The map shared by the 7th Rapid Response Corps illustrates the probable encirclement plan, underscoring the strategic importance of Pokrovsk for Russian forces. Ukrainian defenders remain vigilant, using artillery, counterattacks, and drone strikes to disrupt enemy formations and prevent the city from being fully surrounded. The ongoing situation demonstrates both the intensity of Russian attempts to capture key settlements in Donetsk and the effectiveness of Ukraine's coordinated defense in blunting these maneuvers. And let's see what we know until now about the encirclement of Ukraine's Pokrovsk. Russian soldiers have advanced further into the city of Pokrovsk, threatening not only to take the city, but to complete a larger encirclement of the surrounding area, as independent analysts and commanders report a serious deterioration of the Ukrainian position in the area. The defense of the major city in Donetsk Oblast, which has held out for over a year of heavy fighting as one of the main hotspots of the front line, looks to have begun falling apart as Russian soldiers in their hundreds have broken into the city limits, spreading in all directions. President Volodymyr Zelensky telling journalists on October 27 that Russian forces outnumbered Ukrainian defenders 8-1. Speaking during a visit to a military hospital in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed that both Pokrovsk and the embattled city of Kupiansk in Kharkiv Oblast were encircled. In a bizarre comment, especially considering the recent uptick in fatal attacks on journalists near the front line, Putin added that Russian forces would be prepared to cease fire in the respective areas for a few hours, so that Ukrainian and foreign journalists could enter, speak to Ukrainian soldiers, and confirm for themselves the state that these surrounded forces are in. Ukrainian commanders' reports, as well as open-source data, show that Putin's claim of a complete encirclement is still far from reality, but the situation is undoubtedly highly dynamic and deteriorating for the defending side. In a grim development, Russian forces managed to plant the Russian flag on the entrance sign at the western edge of Pokrovsk on October 29th, though the flag is more an exercise in information options than a solid indicator of territorial control. Though Russian forces first reached the outskirts of Pokrovsk around late autumn 2024, it wasn't until mid-2025 that the first successful penetrations into the city itself were successfully realized. Over the next week, however, more and more videos emerged on social media, often posted by Ukrainian units showing successful drone strikes, of more and Russian soldiers spotted deep in the Ukrainian rear. By October 27th, Ukraine's general staff admitted that around 200 Russian soldiers had amassed in the city. In these conditions of chaotic urban fighting, the idea of a clear front line becomes increasingly blurry, and the task of mapping it for mapping projects, such as the highly regarded independent mapping and analyst group Deep State, becomes increasingly counterproductive. They don't control the city. They don't control any whole neighborhoods, said Roman Pohorilyi, co-founder of Deep State. They just move around chaotically, conduct sabotage and reconnaissance operations, including ambushes. Given the scale and scope of the Russian infiltration of Pokrovsk, and with it, the dissipation of the Ukrainian defense in the sector, saving the city from falling in the short term looks to be a daunting and likely impossible task. Unlike in the July infiltration, which was small enough to clear while the defense of the rest of the city held firm, a similar approach will no longer work now, according to Pohorilyi. Successfully clearing this or that area does not change the overall situation, he said, because the main problem isn't solved. The southern part of the city, where they are infiltrating in the first place, isn't locked down. But even if the Pokrovsk-Mir Nohrad pocket somehow holds over the short term, the three-sided encirclement on the flanks of the agglomeration and the deadly gauntlet of Russian drones hanging over remaining logistics routes that comes with it means defending the pocket will no longer present a favorable attritional fight for Ukraine. Baba Yaga paid a visit to the Russians' position, leaving some fiery impressions behind.
You can't carry everything anymore, it's all like that.
Hold this, Shine.
Let me help, hold on. Bomber.
Come here, Zaten.
Here, shine it on him.
Just pull it out here. Here into the pit. Water. I see water.
Step back. Turn it, turn it. Just sit there, just sit there.
Here!
Drones from Ukraine's 429th Achilles Regiment continue the hunt, hitting 3 Russian tanks and multiple IFVs, with one permanently destroyed. The 429th Achilles Regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces has emerged as one of the most formidable units on the battlefield. Specializing in long-range anti-tank operations, the regiment is equipped with Javelin, NLAW, and other precision anti-armor systems, allowing it to destroy Russian tanks and armored vehicles at distance. Often deployed in defensive and ambush operations, the unit has played a key role in slowing Russian advances, particularly in Donetsk and southern regions, earning a reputation for efficiency, discipline, and high-impact strikes against enemy formations. Italian Defense Minister Crosetto claims Ukraine cannot regain its lost territories, citing Russia's constitutional annexation and military dominance. He also warns that Russian propaganda has deeply infiltrated Italian society, corrupting even the unsuspected through hybrid and cognitive warfare. India's HMEL energy company has decided to suspend further purchases of Russian oil due to the latest sanctions, Economic Times reports.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.